Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Leviticus. Now, I've seen in the last couple of days that Leviticus is all about how the people of Israel, the children of God, are to come and live in the presence of God. Since God is a holy God, how can we enter into His presence? How can we live in His presence? And we're going to find in Leviticus that there are three means or three methods that God has given by which the children of Israel are to approach Him and live in His presence. The first method or the first means is rituals. Rituals. Things they are to do to approach and worship God. The second means are the priesthood, the priest. The priest will represent the people to God and represent God to the people. The priest will stand between the people and God. And then the third means or the third method of approaching God is through cleanliness or purity. Since God is a holy God, those who come into His presence must be clean, must be pure. And so we find these three means or three methods of approaching God in Leviticus: the rituals, the priesthood, and purity. Now, there's a symmetrical structure to the book of Leviticus. So you have brackets in the book or parentheses in the book that surround the center of the book. And these parentheses deal with those three approaches. So for instance, the first bracket in the book deals with the matter of the rituals. So the first part of that is in chapters 1 through 7, which deal with the sacrifices the children of Israel are to make as they approach God. The first of the rituals are the 5 sacrifices Israel makes in approaching God to worship. That's found in chapters 1 through 7. And then the parallel to that section, the other bracket of rituals, is found in chapters 23 through 25. And those are the annual festivals the children of Israel are to observe. Festivals like the Pentecost and Tabernacles and that sort of thing. The festivals are the commemoration of God's acts to redeem the people. They are remembering how God made them a people. So that's the outer section of the book of Leviticus, the rituals of sacrifice and the rituals of the festivals. Then the next section, a little bit closer to the center, is the priesthood. We find the priest ordained in chapters 8 through 10. Abraham and his son are ordained as priest for Israel. And we see the importance of the priesthood. And then the other parallel section to the priesthood is found in chapters 21 through 22. These are the qualifications for being a priest. You see, the life of a priest is so important, standing between the people and God. And the qualifications are very stringent, and they are outlined in the book of Leviticus. And then we see the interior parentheses or brackets around these channels, and that has to do with purity. So in chapters 11 through 15, we see instructions on ritual purity. How you have to be ritually clean to come into the tabernacle. And these are the laws that deal with stuff like skin disease and bodily fluids and touching corpses. These are things that can make you ritually unclean, but you must be clean to come to the presence of God. And then the parallel to the cleanliness statute in the second half of the book is found in chapters 18 through 20. And this has to do with moral purity. See, the first section has to do with ritual purity, and the parallel section has to do with moral purity, living a right life before God, morals of sexual contact, and living as a sexually pure people. These laws are found in chapters 18 through 20. So you see these three great movements in the book of Leviticus dealing with the rituals of sacrifice and the festivals, the priesthood being ordained and the qualifications, and then laws of purity dealing with ritual purity and moral purity. And all these sort of form symmetrical parentheses around the center of the book, which is chapters 16 and 17, which deals with the Day of Atonement, the most holy day in the life of Israel, when the high priest would go into the Holy of Holies in the tabernacle and make atonement for the sins of the people. So see, the book of Leviticus is all about how you approach God. You approach Him through the rituals of sacrifice and the festivals. You approach Him by means of the priesthood, which is so important because they stand between you and God. And you approach Him in purity, both ritual purity and moral purity or cleanliness. And at the center of that is God making atonement for the people, God providing for the covering of our sin so that we can come into his presence. Now, this is what we're going to find in the book of Leviticus. And as we move through it, we'll look at these in some detail to help us understand how we come into the presence of God. But I hope understanding a little bit of how the book is structured will help you understand the importance of the book in telling us, giving us means by which we come into the presence of God, that we might live in his presence and that he might make atonement for our sins. Tomorrow we'll begin looking in some more detail at these things. Hope to see you next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the book of the Leviticus.